Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phillies hosted Vidcast, and today we will be reviewing the Phillies 2019 season. So we have a lot to talk about in this one. We have a lot of news to cover. We have a lot of things to talk about. We're gonna go start going way back and think about all the moves we made last offseason and how I thought we thought it all panned out. As I said, the season just ended yesterday, so we kind of have our raw emotions about how the season went. I said if I did it 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks after the season. So I think if I do it the day after the last game of the season, I think that's just kind of like my raw emotions of how I felt the year went. So that's why I'm going to do it now. And plus, I think it's more convenient for myself since, I have school rest this week. I did not have school today. So anyway, so we have a lot to talk about here. We're going to go through stats. We're going to talk about some players, how we thought they did. We're going to talk about some disappointing things, some good things, and we're also going to go through the top moments of the 2019. I'm going to try to make this under 30 minutes or maybe a little over 30 minutes. I do not want to make this too long because I want to get some clicks on this video. I want to get some viewers. I think I'm going to do a Bryce Harper season review this week. I do not want to do two videos in one day. Simply because I think that might fluctuate my views a little bit and mess them up. So that's why I'm going to do two separate videos, of course. So I think Bryce Harper is a really big name to talk about, of course. So let's start. Let's dive right into it, shall we? So I think it could go back to 2018, right? So basing off of what are the players we got this offseason goes back to 2018. So in 2018, if you didn't notice, the Phillies struggled with their attendance a lot. Their attendance was really, really bad, despite being in a playoff race. Their attendance was not good. So they needed something to draw the fans to the ballpark. I was also coming off of an Eagles Super Bowl, too. I guess some people were excited about the Eagles and didn't really care about the Phillies. They're in first place last year in July. So the front office partner, John Middleton, and the owner and Andy McPhail, Matt Klentak, everybody got together and said, all right, we need something that's going to draw these fans to the ballpark. And going into last offseason, you had the two free agent prizes, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, both 26 years old, and boy, do they look attractive on this market. Probably the biggest free agency there's going to be some free. You got Mookie Betts, you got some good free agents coming up, but I think that's the most recent one in recent modern baseball history was the Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, the attractive names to 26-year-old superstars, MVP candidates. Machado didn't win an MVP, but Bryce Harper won an MVP. These kids had a lot of potential. So the Phillies were linked to both of these guys, and they are actually attached to their name. Goes all the way back into September. They actually thought they could get both of them, which obviously didn't happen and wasn't really realistic. But they technically could have did if they wanted to. But they didn't. They only signed one. So they needed, to draw some fans to the ballpark. So they quickly went out and traded Carlos Santana and J.P. Crawford in early December, and acquired Gene Segura from the Seattle Mariners. Gene Segura was a hit machine. He got on base. He could hit. He hit for a high average. And trading away Carlos Santana opened up the spot for Rhys Hoskins to go back to first base after having a terrible WAR in left field. You move him back to first base. That was a good move. You trade away Santana. He was not needed here. He did not fit well in the National League. You could say what you want and say, oh, why did we trade him? He had a good year in Cleveland. Well, who knows if he would have had that same year here. Didn't fit into our plans. Goodbye. J.P. Crawford was a big, high scouted name in our farm system. Did not pan out. Didn't go as we hoped. He had the injury bug, and we kicked him to the curb as well. So we traded him to the Seattle Mariners. Santana ended up getting traded in a double trade back to Cleveland. He was only on the Mariners for 2 weeks. We acquired Gene Segura. That was the first move. Then we went out and signed Andrew McCutchen, the former MVP. Obviously, wasn't the same player. We signed him to a 3-year deal. It was a good signing. We could fit him in a corner outfield position. Obviously, not really a center fielder anymore. He's getting older. I think by that time we didn't know if we were going to get Harper. So you're okay, fit him in a corner outfield position, and he'd be great. So obviously he's getting older, but he's a good veteran leader. I like that. I didn't really like that move at first. I'll be honest. I did not like that move, but it turned out to be good. Unfortunately, he got hurt. We'll get to that later. We went out and signed David Robertson. That was a disaster. I thought it was great at the time. It was a disaster. We signed him to a 2-year deal. I think he's getting like $12 million a year. It's ridiculous. 12 or 14 million. I can't remember the exact, but that contract's a joke. And he's out. He was out. He didn't pitch until April. The last time he pitched was in April, and he's out for the remainder of next year too. And he's still getting paid all this money. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So we all thought that was going to be like, we got our closer for the next 2 years. Like, he's really, really good. And I actually really liked Robertson, and I thought he was going to be great for us. But unfortunately, he did not work out. Then in February, I think for all the off season, we heard about JT Muto. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? And I said, I don't want JT on this team. I really don't. I have Jorge Alfaro. He's the catcher for the future. I did not want JT. And this is bringing back bad memories for me, man. The last winter was rough mentally. It really was. Like, I just consumed my life. Like, Harper, are we going to get this guy? Like, it was such a rough time, like, for the Phillies and everything. I think every fan was just going through a rough time mentally last winter. I really, Scott Boras has tortured us, man. Like, oh my goodness gracious. Are we going to get Harper? Oh my gosh, it worried me to death. Luckily, the result is what we wanted. We got him. So we went out. JT Muto, it was a surprising move. We traded Alfaro, Will Stewart, and Cisco Sanchez. It was kind of a ballsy move from Clintack, but I think Middleton was kind of nudging him to do it. I think that's what brought Harper here. You heard that in the documentary. Harper said, I don't know if Clintack's going to have the guts to make a big move. And Middleton said, well, he just traded one of the best prospects in baseball, so I think that answers your question. So I definitely think that's all Harper here. Obviously, Harper said a lot of good things about Muto when he was in Washington. When last year when he hit a walk-off, he said, it wouldn't have happened if he was on my team. So they went out and traded for JT. I thought that was a really good trade. So we get JT. Then a couple weeks go by. And up until that final week before Harper signed with us, it was on a Thursday, February 28th. I'll never forget the day. They were really, really pushing the Giants and the Dodgers. Giants swooped in. Their offer kept getting high, and then the Dodgers came in. Right? I mean, it was really, really scary. And the Giants offered 12 years, I think it was 320, 315. But it was deferred. The Nationals offer, first of all, Harper declined a 10-year, $300 million contract from the Nationals last year. And that was deferred money until he was 60 or something. It was ridiculous. And then they offered him another low ball offer in January. And he said, no, thank you. So, they lost touch. Harper lost touch with Rizzo and the Lerner family. So here's what eventually happened. Harper signed with the Phillies. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's going to go back close to home. He's going to go to San Francisco. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my gosh, it's just on and off that he could just fly back to LA. He could go to San Fran. I was nervous to death. And he ended up signing with us because we showed him the big bucks, and I think he liked Philadelphia. So we got him. So we go into the season. Now let's recap this season. Here we go. I'm sorry, I it was a little longer than I expected. So we got Bryce Harper. That was the icing on the cake for the offseason. He was the man, right? I mean, that was it. Not to mention, we didn't get any. We got Jose Alvarez and a couple others that won the Calcio. We got a couple other minor pitchers. But keep in mind here, as I was saying all this, we did not get one starting pitcher, and this would come back and be our fate in this 2019 season. So we go into the season. We are hype as can be. No one's going to take us down. We're arrogant. We're the Phillies fans were arrogant. We're saying we're just going to come in and just snowball everybody, steamroll everybody. Here we come. This vision is a juggernaut. We got 4 teams: the Mets, the Braves, the Nats, and the Phillies. We're going to be so good this year. We're going to win this division. We have what it takes. We have Bryce. We have JT. We have a good core of guys. We have Hoskins. We're going to be good. So we go to the first series. We sweep out the Atlanta Braves. Harper hits 2 home runs. It's fantastic. We go to Washington. Harper hits a home runs, return to DC. It's fantastic. And the first 2 months of this season, guys, was great. Great. We were in first place. Until mid-June. Harper did go through a little slump, though, in the month of May. It was a little rough for him. His average went down to 219 at one point. He was really, really struggling. So we get to June. We are. I mean, we were underachieving up to like I think it was June 10th. I think we got knocked out of first place. We were underachieving up to that point, but we were still in first place. It was still a good year. So we get to June 10th, and then around that time, and then we go to Atlanta. We blow like a five. No, I think we blew a 5-run lead there, and we got knocked out of first place. Never in first place again after that. And I was thinking like, we'll go back. I was mad. I think I have a video on here. I know I have a video on here talking about it. I'm like, I'm mad, but I know we could come back and, it'll be all good. Well, it turns out it wasn't. And we never were in first place after that. So after that point, we were just not where you needed to be. Not to mention, on June 4th in San Diego, our heart and soul of this team, Andrew McCutchen, who was a great veteran leader, outperformed his expectations, was going to be an all-star. I knew he was on pace to set the record for walks as a leadoff hitter. He was great. He's a table setter at the top of the lineup. Great veteran guy to have in your squad. He goes down with a devastating ACL injury. Kushin Segura pops the ball up. Ian Kinsler lets it drop in front of him. And Segura doesn't run out the ground ball. Throws to first, throws to second, double play, and Kutch out for the year. Oof, man, that hurt. So then Jay Bruce, a man that we acquired, I believe, a couple days before that time. He comes, and he hits I think he hit 3 home runs in that San Diego series. We're thinking okay, we got our replacement for well, obviously, we all knew he wasn't going to be as good as McCutchen. We're like, okay, we feel pretty confident with Jay Bruce. I think we could rely on him to be the left fielder for the rest of the season. We call up Adam Hazley. He got some time in there as well. So ever since June 10th, we just were not a good baseball team. We go through the month of July. We kept falling and falling and falling further and further down. So it was a very, very disappointing season. We play the Dodgers that 4-game series. That was one of my favorite series of the year. Harper hits that walk-off double to center. I'll never forget that. That was amazing. He split the series with the Dodgers. We all thought that series was going to be a disaster. We ended up splitting that. And this team in 2019, guys, was a very inconsistent team. I don't think I need to say that. We finished 81-81, 500, guys. And we just couldn't have consistency. We never won 5 games in a row. That's something that has to change in 2020. It's going to. We never really could get on a run. And I think that's the reason. Obviously, that's the reason why we did not make the playoffs. And the lack of pitching in our rotation really came back to bite us. And there's no other way to say it nicer. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. There's no other way to say, no, it didn't. Of course it did, because Aaron Nola had an underachieving season. Arrieta was a disaster. And the other 3 young guys in this rotation, Eflin, Pivetta, and Vince, and some others like Cole Irvin, Jay Radkoff, they didn't do their job they needed to. And you could say that, well, how good are they really are? What do you expect out of them? Are we expecting too much? I guess we were. And I think we were. And Clentak made a big, big mistake with that, not going out and signing some good pitching on the market last season. I understand that Dallas Keuchel wasn't an ace, but you found out months and months later that he didn't even give him Scott Boras a call, and that's ridiculous. So Clentak didn't do the job he needed to do with the pitching. So we go to the trade deadline. We've underachieved. The Nationals overtook us. We're still in the race for this wild card. Should we go out and trade for Corey Dickerson and Jason Vargas? Then I believe we also signed Logan Morrison and some other bench pieces. Go in the second half of the season with Jason Vargas. That's the only arm you pick up, Jason Vargas. When other pitchers like Tanner Roark and others, Tanner Roark, people are available, you choose just Jason Vargas. Okay, so you also get Corey Dickerson. That was a nice pickup, of course. So we go in the second half of the season, hoping to turn things around. So we start this second half of the season with the Washington Nationals lose 2 out of 3, and then that's when that Dodgers series happened. That was pretty cool, and I'm going to get to my top moments of 2019. So I think, well, I'll mention this is one of them. When Harper hit that walk-off double, that was awesome, dude. That was awesome. we blew a lead, and he came back. And not to mention, he hit a home run in that game too, like a 3-run shot. So that was one of Harper's best games of the year, for sure. So we have some momentum. We're thinking like, oh, come on, we got this. We got it. And then we just keep going through the months and months and months. And then the Mets start slowly gaining ground on us. And it started to go a little bit nerve-wracking. So we go into August. We keep playing. We keep grinding. Losing series. Not to mention in June, I forgot to mention this, we got swept out by the Miami Marlins at home. So we go in, lose the series to the Chicago White Sox. We lose series to the Miami Marlins. Get swept out by the Miami Marlins at home, which is even more pitiful than if you just get swept out. I think that's even more embarrassing if you get swept out at your home stadium by a trash baseball team. So we can't beat the Miami Marlins. So we go through the month of August, just continue to fall farther and farther away. The Mets just gain ground, eventually fall to fourth place. And we did overcome, fourth place for a while, got back to third. And then, obviously, we finished in fourth place because the Mets were 5 games better than us this year, which is I don't know how. I honestly think, obviously, the stats say that the Mets had a better season than us, but I really think we had a better season than the Mets. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, you can call me crazy, but I really think we had a better season than the Mets. But anyway, so we lose series to teams that we have to beat. So the month of August was, I think at the end of the month in August, I'm thinking they're sitting there thinking like, we're not going to make the playoffs. The end of the month in August, that's when I clicked for me. We're not going to make the playoffs. So if you guys are wondering that's when, up until that point, I was hopeful. Then like the final week in August, I'm like, we're not going to do it. So the Nationals, they gain ground. The Cubs, you got all these teams ahead of you. It's just not good. So you go in the month of September. Not to mention, Harper was fantastic through the second half of the year with home runs. His power numbers were down, but I think he figured it out. I think something just went off, and I can't wait. That's why I can't wait for next year. See what he's going to do. 40 home run season. I'm thinking it, man. So obviously, there's a huge hit that Harper got in the month of August, but we'll get to that later. So we go through the month of September, just play out the game. We play like 500. The Mets overtake us, get swept out by DC in a 5-game series. And there we are right now. We're 81-81. That's your 2019 season. So we underachieved all season long. The pitching wasn't good enough. A weak trade deadline. We should have been much, much better, much more aggressive, and we just weren't aggressive enough. And obviously, I think the lack of pitching moves that were made in the offseason definitely had an impact on our season this year. So overall, I think let's talk about the things that went wrong. The pitching, obviously. The starting pitching wasn't good. The bullpen obviously suffered a plague of injuries, right? Like Tommy Hunter, Pat Neshek, Sir Anthony Dominguez, David Robertson, many, many others. The starting rotation, that's no excuse. You didn't really have that many injury problems in there. It's just that the guys just weren't good enough. Aaron Nola, like a 3.90 ERA, that's terrible for Aaron Nola. He just wasn't good this year. He wasn't good. He wasn't good. He started off rough, kind of went through a nice cruising period in the summer, and then once it got to September, that was it for him. He was gassed. And if you have more starting pitchers in your rotation, reliable starting pitchers, that won't happen. So that's another thing that went wrong. The offense was a little too inconsistent. Everyone wants to say, oh, the offense was not the problem this year. None of it was the offensive problem. Totally disagree. It was not terrible. It was better than the pitching, but it still wasn't consistent. I don't think it's all the pitching's fault. So the offense wasn't consistent enough. Mismanagement from our manager. That's another thing that went wrong. Not putting in the right pitching, not making the right moves. That's another problem. I don't think it went right. JT Realmuto having a great season, better than I think I expected. Bryce Harper hitting 35 home runs, having a 260 average, having 114 RBIs, which is really, really good. So I think Scott Kingery having a much improved season than his 2018 season. Another disappointment, I'd say, is Hoskins. We expected him to be much better since moving back to the first base. He was a disappointment, and I really hate to see it because he's such a good man. He's going to get married in next month, I believe. So I really am sad to see that Hoskins didn't have the year he was hoping to have. And, it sucks for him, and it's not good for this team, because we wanted him to have a much better season, like 226. That was another disappointment. And there were some. I mean, Corey Dickerson in the second half of the season. Obviously, Everton broke his foot. He was fantastic for us. So there were some bright moments. There were some bright moments this year, and they're not all bad. They're not all bad. Andrew McCutchen, up until he got hurt, he was an on-base machine. Adam Hazley showed some promise this year. Jose Alvarez was pretty good out of the bullpen. I think we saw, obviously I know he's, not really talked about, but I really, really liked what he did this year. So there are some bright spots. They're not all bad. So let's go into the top moments of the 2019 season, shall we? All right, top moment number one. The first series of the year, and we swept out the Atlanta Braves. That was fantastic. It's a great way to start the year. You go out 3-0, sweep out the defending NL East champions. Not that it mattered at the end, but that was pretty cool to see. Harper's first home run in the Phillies uniform, the second day of the year. That was the moonshot at the second deck. That was amazing when he took off his helmet and went like that in front of the fans. That was amazing. Harper's return to DC. Homer returned to DC. That was amazing. Just him getting booed that night, and he just shut everybody up when he hit a home run. He got 3 hits. That was cool to see. Harper homering off of Strasburg. That was awesome. Hoskins grand slam at opening day. That was really, really cool to see. It was great. Obviously, you have that walk-off double Harper had in July. I just talked about that. Getting that huge home run, that walk-off double. I believe it was a 2-run walk-off double, I believe, to defeat the Dodgers after they came back. That was awesome. That was really, really cool to see. They came back against us in the ninth, and we ended up winning that game. We were lucky. We were lucky to have that happen for us. You go, in the month of August, and Harper. This is by far my favorite moment of the year. This is the top moment. Bryce Harper walk-off grand slam to defeat the Cubs after we were down 5-0 at one point. He hits a bomb in the second deck. That was amazing. That was awesome. That just gets me up just thinking about it. He's running around those bases as fast as he could so he could go meet his teammates. That was amazing. That was by far the best moment. Harper hitting his 30th home run. I think, you can't really think of a specific moment for this, but I think, for me, JT Muto, after throwing out all those base runners, I think that was another highlight out of this year, seeing what he could do behind the plate. We haven't really seen that for a very long time. Hitting 25 home runs. I can't remember the last catcher on our team that's hit 25 home runs, even before Carlos Ruiz. So I can't even remember the last time that we've had a catcher as good as JT. I think that was a highlight. It's not really one specific moment. I think Harper getting 114 RBIs was a big moment. I'm really, really hoping I'm not forgetting some of these moments because even though it was a disappointing season, it's a lot to remember. If I think of any more, I'll definitely let you guys know next time. So overall, very, there's some exciting things that happened this year. Even though it was a disappointing season overall, there's some exciting things that happened this year. I think it was fun to see what Andrew McCutchen could do at the top of the lineup in the leadoff spot until we got hurt on June 4th. It was a devastating injury. But we saw what he could do at the top of the lineup. We saw, some promise out of, as I said, JT. We saw some promise out of Scott Kingery. We saw Harper in his first year, 35 home runs, 260 average, 114 RBIs. So, guys, there are good moments this year. They were not all terrible. Some of them were good. Obviously, like I said, it was a rough year. But not all of it was bad. There were some good. As I said, I'm still disappointed about this year, but I'm going to miss this Phillies team. So let's take a look at our final stats. We finished with a 246 batting average, 319 on base percentage, 427 slugging, and a 746 on base percentage. We had 742 runs batted in, 215 home runs, 26 triples, 311 doubles, 1,369 hits, 774 runs, 5,571 at-bats. And, it was crazy. We hit 253 as a team. At home, we hit 239 on the road. That's another thing I like to see out of next year, a better team on the road. We were not good on the road. We were much better during night games, actually. On night games, we had a 252 batting average. During the day, we only had a 231 batting average. Well, I definitely could see that. I definitely think we played much, much better during the day, or the night, rather. So during left-handed pitchers this season, we hit 255. During right-handed pitchers, we hit 242. Now, I believe I went through this before, like when we got eliminated. Before the All-Star break, we hit 246, and after, we hit 245. So, as I said, we were inconsistent all season long. It wasn't like we had a horrible first half and then we had a terrible second, had a great second half, or we had a great first half and had a horrible second half. It was just a linear, mediocre season. It was very, very linear. Obviously, I think in the beginning, I can argue about that since we were in first place at one time, but it was a slow, gradual decline. It wasn't like we just fell off. We lost 12 in a row. No, we gradually fell to 500. So that's what happened, right? So we gradually fell to 500. But overall, disappointing season, of course. I liked what I saw out of Bryce Harper. I really, really did. I think what he provided for this lineup was amazing. I definitely think he's our offensive MVP. Not to mention what he did out in the field, having a much improved season out there in the field. 13 outfield assists, which is amazing. Only one last year. That's unbelievable. I mean, it's something that Harper should be proud of. I know he is. I'm sure he is. And I'm really, really happy to see him have success like that. So we just have to have a better year next year. Obviously, we really do. I think we have to play smarter. Getting a new manager, I think, would help. Just getting the right management, the right skill set in there, I definitely think would help. I kind of went through our top moments. I think Harper delivered a lot of his top moments. I think it shows what a clutch hitter he really is. I think another top moment was Hoskins homering off of Jacob Rain. After he threw at him, Hoskins did that slow home run shot that really pissed him off. And I really think that started obviously the Mets and Phillies have always had a cold-blooded rivalry, but I think that kind of fueled it a little bit more. So, yeah, guys, I'll touch on what I really want to see out of this team in 2020. I want to see better pitching. I'll make a whole video of it in a couple months. I'm not going to do it now. I think it's a little early for that. I'll do it in a couple months. I'll just touch on a little bit right now. I want to see better starting pitching. I want to see a different manager. I want to see different management. I want to see a different skill set. I really would like to just see us have more fight, right? I want us to not, obviously there's going to be ups and downs, so I want us to be more consistent, getting on a 5-game winning streak. That's what I want to see. And a year from now, I'm going to be sitting here saying that we're going to go to we're getting ready for the ALDS. That's what I want to say, or at least the wild card, and I want to say we have a 90 plus win season. In a year from now, that's what I should be saying. I hope that's what I'm hoping that's what I'm going to be here for next year. And I hope to God that I'm not here saying, well, it's just like last year. I don't think I will. I think next year will be much better. But the fact that we've spent all this money on all the players and only one game better than last year, guys. One game better. And it's incredibly disappointing, especially, after all the moves we made. And the pitching just wasn't good enough. And, here's our final, pitching line. I'll give it to you. It wasn't good enough. We had a 261 batting average against our opponents. Had a 261 batting average against us. That's not good. That's really, really terrible. 4.53 ERA, not good enough. At home, we had 4.36 ERA. On the road, we had a 4.71 ERA. It's no secret this team is much better at home. There's no question. We're much better. We had 1,392 strikeouts. Overall, it was a disappointing season all the way around, really. It really, really was. Our pitching was terrible all season long. Aaron Nola was a total disappointment. Jake Arrieta, I think we expected him to be a disappointment. So overall, I'm very, very disappointed with this season. Really, really am. I don't think anyone has to say it. It's not a horrible season. Disappointing. It was terrible to see Andrew McCutchen go down. It wasn't good to see David Robertson go down. It really hurt our bullpen, even if it wasn't very good. But he could have been a good pitcher for this bullpen. It's really hard to see other pitchers in our bullpen go down as well. So I'm going to wrap this video up right now. So that's your 2019 season, guys. I'm probably going to be making that Bryce Harper video this week before I go away. No, I'm not going to be going to school on Friday because that's when I leave. So, maybe Friday morning or so, or, maybe Thursday night. Maybe Thursday night. That's a good idea. Like maybe Thursday. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night maybe. I really would like to watch the wild card game, so I don't know if I'm going to really make a video. I'm going to be recapping the AL wild card game. I'm not going to be doing like series, game by game, and like the NL and CS and the World Series and stuff. The AL, like I'm not going to be doing that. This will be series recaps, guys. Series recaps. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have not yet, please subscribe. Please tell your friends these videos. Please forward this video. Please like this video. Please check out social media, link in the description below. Please go give it a follow. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks again for a wonderful 2019 season. Obviously, yesterday was the last game. Really going to miss this, guys. Obviously, I understand football, but this is my favorite sport. It really is, and I think you guys know that. So thank you, and I will talk to you all later. I'm not going to make a video tomorrow. Wednesday night, and you'll probably see me on Thursday as well. But during this upcoming weekend, no videos. So yeah, like I said, this obviously channel is going to be a little less active. Thank you all so much for watching. Talk to you all later.